All right. Hello there, Diet Rebel Scum and Diet Rebel Scum Curious. Welcome to Rants and Random Thoughts number 1. This is my first one of these. I guess this is going to be a series. Kind of finding my way. This is kind of what I would like to do most of the time, is I'd like to just sit and talk. That's what I do best. Actually, I would rather be standing and talking, and I'm going to transform my desk here into a optional standing desk here very soon, because I rant better when I'm able to step back and turn. I notice I do that a lot. Whenever I get to talking, I got to move around. So maybe I can do it on this wheelchair. All right. Here we go. First things first. I'm upping my game on my thumbnails. So, got a thumbnail. And if you notice, I've got an open shirt like this on that thumbnail. I've noticed a lot of some YouTubers have kind of a shtick. And I think this is going to be my shtick for a while. One guy that I kind of like to listen to, daily YouTuber, Sticks Hex and Hammer. For a while there, he was doing like a bathrobe. And he like had it closed mostly, but he kind of showed his chest, you know. And he's a rather thin guy, you know. He's not some kind of buff muscle guy. Like, I'm not a buff muscle guy either, but, you know, I guess I'm okay enough to expose a little. So that's okay. That's okay. And I can take criticism. It's all good. So that is what it is. So, yeah, I can do a flannel unbuttoned. It's how I like to walk around the house. And besides, when someone sees the thumbnails are all about getting clicks, right? So somebody might look at my thumbnail and go, who does that arrogant bastard think he is, showing his chest like that? What's this guy about? And they might click on it, and they might like me. They might hate me. Either way, that's all right. That's what this is all about. We're trying to get to the truth. We're just going to talk openly about things. And a question I'd like to ask and answer. I don't know if I'm going to answer completely, but I'm going to try to answer it. I'm just going to talk around it and just see if an answer comes out. Let's do that. So, the question is, are we a cult? I'm kind of wondering that. You know, we're described as that, as carnivore dieters, low carb people, keto, paleo. Is paleo low carb? I'm not sure. They eat a lot of nuts and berries and things, but it's probably low carb-ish compared to the standard American diet. But, you know, we Diet Rebel Scum. We've taken the food pyramid and turned it upside down and said, to hell with it. We're no longer bamboozled by the government recommendations. I think they're very flawed. All right, here's another thing. Okay, cults. Are we a cult? Here's one way I was kind of thinking of it is, okay, yeah, if we're a small following compared to, let's say, veganism. And I really don't know what the stats are on this about like veganism versus carnivore. It sure seems like low carb has really taken hold in the last several years, and everybody seems to have heard of it now. Like, a lot of people have heard of keto because they're even making junk food that is keto. You know, the Quest bars and things like that. You know, and I call it junk food. I guess, you know, in the interest of not being sued. You know, I mean, I bought them. I mean, they taste fine. You know, but you know, if you're a real purist and you're trying to stay away from the seed oils and things like that, I think, aren't there? I'm going to have to read the ingredients again on them, but I remember I kind of quit buying them just because they had some of the seed oils, I think. There's possibly hydrogenated oils in there to, you know, it's all to mimic the real junk food. So anyway, but cults sometimes are identifiable by how they look. So what's one of the things that a lot of us natural health hippie people are kind of into? One of the things is blocking blue light. Blue blocker glasses. The very, very orange tinted glasses. Well, one time, one time I was watching my one of my favorite YouTubers, um, Phil Escott, wonderful guy. Been around many years. I've been a fan of his for a long time, and I noticed on a lot of his interviews when he releases a video and he's talking with somebody, in a multi-screen like a Zoom call. Sometimes I've noticed he's wearing his blue blocker glasses. These. They may be a different shape, different style, different brand, whatever, but he's wearing some very orange tinted glasses. And when he's doing that, his room, I think the room he's in where he's always doing his thing, is a little bit darker. So I have a feeling it's at night. When he's wearing his blue blocker glasses on camera during an interview or whatever, I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, he's probably having to do this at night. And there he is, he's looking at a screen, and you don't want the blue light, because it messes up your sleep patterns and stuff and all that stuff. And I'm a believer in that. And a lot of us low carb people are believers in that. Carnivore, we're kind of into trying to do things naturally. Oh dear, pulled out one of my earbuds. Yeah. Okay, so I was like, hey, I've got blue blocker glasses too, but here's a problem. I can't do my podcasting and video recording and stuff with just his blue blockers because I have prescription glasses. Got an astigmatism, which that's not too bad, but I also need reading glasses too because I cannot see fine print up close. So I have, for when I'm at work and I'm an IT person, so I'm sitting at a computer all day, so that's my living, I have bought like multi-packs of these. These are reading glasses, and they're 0.75s. They're a very weak one, so it's so I can see this small print, but arm's distance away. So right now the text on my computer screen is somewhat blurry, so I could easily misread or mistype something. But with these on, it's all clear. But one thing I hate about these, they do a great job for work and everything, but as you can see right now, you are seeing my monitor reflect in my glasses back at you. That's annoying as hell. I'd rather you see my eyes a little better, or at least look like you can see my eyes a little better, because if I look at the camera, you're seeing my freaking lights maybe and my screen, or maybe just the screen, I'm not sure. But all I see is like light reflecting off my glasses. So one thing I did when I ordered those blue blocker glasses, I also got little clip-on filters, blue blocking filters that you can just put on any pair of glasses. So I was like, hey, I wonder if I can truly blue block, because these are supposed to be blue light blocking. And yeah, they probably do, but a very small percentage. What I've heard is for real proper blue blocking glasses, they need to be amber. They need to be very, very orangey amber looking. If they're not really blocking much blue light. And I tell you what, when I first got these real blue blocking glasses, these here that are really amber, they do block blue light. And because when you see an actual blue light that looks blue to the naked eye, and you put those on, it'll turn white, or maybe just a tiny bit yellow or something, but it's definitely not blue anymore. So anyway, I'm going to do this. So for this stream, well, I'm not live streaming. This is just a recording. But I'm going to make this part of my shtick. I'm going to do this orange flannel, open shirt. I may do a little shaving the chest hair if it gets too long. I got a lot of gray in my chest hair. And as you can tell on this video, I am just letting it all hang out, because that's kind of how I like to roll. I just want to talk freely, and interesting things will come out. So I'm going to clip these on and put these on my reading glasses, computer reading glasses is how they're marketed, and we'll see how this goes. Okay. I don't see that reflection back at least as far as I can tell. So hopefully I look like I'm in a cult. Do I look like a freaking carnivore cultist? If I do, that's totally fine with me. because it's time to just come out. I'm coming out of the closet. I am a distruster of the medical system, as are most of you. You know, our vegan brothers and sisters, they were too, but I'm not so sure now. You know, things have changed a lot. I remember back when I was a lacto-ovo vegetarian, they were very distrustful. That's where I kind of learned my distrust of the medical system. Then where, like, you know, we think the doctors and researchers are trying to find a cure for things, and I used to defend the medical system because I would hear people say no, they're not looking for a cure because they would be putting themselves out of business. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but I'm like, it's too obvious to be true. You know, it can't be. It just can't be. And we don't want it to be true. Don't we want to believe that our doctors and scientists and all that really have our best interest at heart and not just making money or whatever? Everybody wants to make money. I want to make money. You know, we all need to make a living. You know, we all want to drive a nice car if we can, or have a decent house, you know, whatever decent is to you. You know, everybody's got different standards. I don't need much, you know, so I'm not chasing a multi-million-dollar home or anything like that. Never did. In fact, I'm even into the minimalist kind of thing. The tiny house movement, I'm all about that. That's really cool to be able to downsize and stuff. You know, I live in a house that's 960 square feet. By today's standards, that's freaking tiny. But it's not the tiny house movement. Tiny house movement, you know, you can pull down the road without a wide load sign. Okay, so the question is now I'd like to talk about is that very one. Let's see. Oh, see, I made this little message thing. See underneath me, underneath my picture there, I've got it. So I'm kind of a little bit of a developer. This is a Windows application that I made in C# programming language about a year or two ago, just for this very thing, just for doing these podcasts and stuff. But now I gotta hang on, stop. I gotta do well. I'm gonna shortcut here. Load message. It's gonna. Yeah, can we trust the medical system? Do we have a choice? Well, I guess we have a choice. I don't even have a primary care physician. I'm 53 years old, and I do not have, if somebody said, who's your doctor? I'd be like, well, my chiropractor? I mean, she's the one I've been going to since I was 32, off and on. And, yeah, that's my main doctor. The only thing else I've been to is just like an emergency clinic. I was bit by a dog recently. Had to go to an emergency room for that. So saw a doctor there. Don't remember her name. She's very good, you know. But that's what I go to doctors for now, is only something like that. If I'm bleeding and I need stitches, you know, if my health, if I'm going to die right then or really soon, by all means, you know, if I'm in a car accident or if I'm on a bicycle and I get hit by a car or something, by all means, doctors, do whatever you need to save my life, you know, and stitch me back up, please. But when it comes to cold, flu, anything like that, I don't bother. I do not bother. First of all, when I went low carb, when I went keto, my yearly cold, flu, whatever you call it, you know, those itchy sore throat, you know, cold symptoms went away. I forgot what a sore throat felt like. It was really something. So I was like, yeah. And everybody else I know, everybody around me, goes to the doctor as soon as they have the sniffles. If they have to blow their nose, they're going to the doctor and getting a prescription of something. So, and it just repeats, you know, they do it every year, going to the doctor. So and it's not that I just think the doctor's going to kill me or something, or that they're actively trying to kill me. It's just I don't want to take drugs that I don't need. Drugs have side effects. And I can handle the sniffles. If I get a cold or flu, so freaking what? So I'm uncomfortable for a few days. Big freaking deal. I just go about my business. So that's it. That's my stance. If you go to the doctor all the time, I don't care. More power to you. I'll still have a low carb beer with you. I can drink with anybody. If you get a shot of everything that's supposed to prevent anything, if you just get yourself all stuck up with like a pincushion for those things, I'll still have a beer with you. I don't know. I might not drink after you on your beer, but no telling what you're getting. But I'd still have a beer with you, or coffee, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. You do you. That's what I'm always about. You do you. But we need to share what happens with us and compare notes so that we can learn from each other. I'm doing a carnivore diet, except for, I'm going to go ahead and make a confession here because I did have, here in the United States, we have our 4th of July, Independence Day every year, and pop fireworks. If you hear some pops and booms in the background, it's some kids who still have fireworks. Actually, it's not just kids. A bunch of adults do it too. Excuse me. But, they got leftover. They couldn't pop them all. They tried to. So there were fireworks shows all over the place in the city. They're just, it's illegal to pop fireworks in the city unless you have a permit and all that stuff. But so many people do it. There's not enough cops to enforce it. So it's anarchy, so you don't even have to go anywhere for a fireworks show really here in Oklahoma City, because you'll probably have some neighbors just down the street bought, $1,000 of fireworks, and they'll just light them all up. Just, 3 houses down. So all you got to do is just step outside and look, you got a fireworks show at their expense. Thank you. But, yeah. So if you hear any popping or something, it's, yeah. Someone was popping one earlier before I started the video. Where was I? I was ranting about the medical system. So, like I said, I used to defend it. I used to just think, no, they do mean well. They do mean well. But as I went on in my vegetarian journey, I was very question pesticide use. I bought organic. Right now, the milk. So one of the carbs I eat is the lactose. Oh, damn it. See, I got to practice it, staying on subject. I brought up 4th of July and the firework thing. Not because of the fireworks, that's just if you hear it. But I had a cupcake. So on our Independence Day, that's also my mother-in-law's birthday. So we had a birthday party for her and cookout. And there is a dear friend of our family, and she makes cupcakes. And she does very well with the icing and the decoration and everything. So she's, there's always, for any time that we have an event at it's usually my parents' house, where we throw family parties for celebrations for things. Well, this dear friend of the family makes cupcakes, dozen, and sends them to us. Sends them with her brother, and he brings them. He's a dear friend of the family. And, I've made this deal with myself and, the others that will see me eat these cupcakes, knowing that I am a low carb dieter. I'm like, okay, here's the deal. If she makes cupcakes and sends them, those cupcakes are on the table, literally on the table. But I mean, they're in my menu at that time to eat one, hopefully one, just one. And I did. I went ahead. That was like the birthday cake was those cupcakes. So I let everybody have a chance. Everybody that was there. I waited. I was hoping they would all get eaten before I got a chance to eat one. But yeah, So yesterday, last night, they saved one for me. It was like hours had gone by. We had eaten dinner. I ate 2 pounds of beef. Actually, more than that. I ate 2 pounds that I cooked myself out on the grill over charcoal. But before I cooked those, I had like a small little 1/4 pound hamburger patty as like an appetizer. So yes, I had 2¼ pounds. At least they started out as 2¼ pounds. You know, a lot of the water and fat drips off into the fire. Kind of makes it almost probably makes it a low fat meat. But anyway, that's how that went. But then later, yeah, on the kitchen table, sitting on a napkin, all by its lonesome, one last cupcake out of that dozen. I ate it. That was my carbs for the day. Now I have a homemade latte. I've been trying to cut down on the coffee in the evening. I'm making an exception on this evening because I wanted to make this video, my Rants and Random Thoughts #1, because I want to kick off this series. I think this is cool. This is cool. So, can we trust the medical system? At this point in my life, I don't trust it. And I'm gonna let's look at this. Okay, this is Dr. Paul Saladino. Some of you may know who he is. I'm a fan. Now, he went off the rails and he is now promoting eating fruit and stuff. And when I say off the rails, he's all good. In my book, he's all good. Now, he gets made fun of. He's called Paul Fruit Saladino by some in the low carb space, especially in the carnivore space. Because see, he started out as carnivore. He started out as carnivore and then he's gone kind of not carnivore, but not true carnivore. He still promotes eating meat. You know, he's never wavered from that I know of. So, but he just puts in fruit and honey, and that's okay. Paul, love you. And also, he shows his body a lot in his videos. You know, he just walks around in a freaking bathing suit, but he's got a rockin' body. You know, and I'm very, very straight, but he's good looking guy. So, maybe he's shopping for a wife. Okay, so he went on this show, The Doctors, and I remember when this came out. I can't believe this is 5 years ago. Now, I'm going to play this off of The Doctors channel. They actually posted this. This came up in my freaking YouTube feed the other day. I don't know why. So I guess they posted this 5 years ago, but it just got recommended to me. Now, I watched this. Let me give you a preface. They had 2 girls. Their channel is Strong Sisters. Strong Sisters is 2 young girls that had rheumatoid arthritis, and I don't know if one of them had lupus. I can't remember, but they had chronic bad illness that their doctors could not help them very much with. They just the girls' doctors put them on all the steroid medications or whatever to get their rashes to go down or whatever. But that's like an autoimmune disease that was just wrecking these 2 girls. Well, guess what? No surprise. They found the carnivore diet and just stopped eating all the leafy greens and all that stuff, and they've got it all on their YouTube channel, and they no longer are ravaged by those autoimmune illnesses that they were suffering from. And so the Doctors show had them on, and I think the way it went was the girls were fans of Dr. Paul Saladino and wanted him to be a guest on the show also. So it was kind of a team thing. So they kind of supported each other. Those girls kind of young, and real nice. And I think maybe they felt better having Dr. Paul Saladino on there to kind of help articulate their idea and kind of back them up, whatever. And this was amazing. If you haven't seen this is incredible how rude that the doctors and the people on the panel there that are part of the show treated Dr. Paul Saladino. I mean, it was insane. It made me mad watching it because they were so rude, so condescending, and it does not make the medical profession look good. I guess the doctor's show thinks it does, but I mean, this is, let's just go through some of this. It's 4 minutes and 58 seconds. And you know what? I think this was only pretty much them attacking him. So this is a sliced up video, and not by me, but by them. The doctors actually put what makes them look the worst, they posted, because I think they think they were winning. But if you have any kind of like genuine thirst for what is the truth, how do we get to good health, what's the right thing to do, you wouldn't treat a guest on your show this way. And especially if you're a doctor and you're confident, if you know, anyway. Well, Paul Saladino is a doctor, but he's a psychiatrist, see? And that's what they pick on. Here we go.
Dr. Saladino, when you're recommending this diet, what risks do you discuss with your patients?
I don't think there are any risks to eating animal foods exclusively. There are no risks in terms of kidney function. There are many studies which show that high-protein diets do not affect kidney function.
There's the strong cistus. Now, I think before this, on the show, if I remember right, they had a whole really cool video that they had put together that they ran on the show, and it shows them on their channel, and really, it was really good. Made their channel look cool. You know, it was a nice deal. It didn't make them look bad, and it was good. So, I think and these girls are just absolutely golden nice, really nice, and I think, you know, it was all going fine, and until this. So till they went to Paul Saladino.
There are no studies interventionally that show that eating meat is going to increase the risk of any single cancer. There are no risks to eating the foods that we have been eating as humans for our entire existence.
As an attorney, I would ask you, you're a medical doctor, is that correct?
Absolutely.
And you are a psychiatrist, am I correct?
A resident.
Now, I don't mind what that attorney is asking. Why they have an attorney on the show, on the doctors, I don't know. Except she talks very loud, really abrasive, and real accusatory. Like, I mean, it's just, as you can tell, the raspiness in her voice. She's already trying to use intimidation. And you can see Dr. Paul Saladino, it kind of blindsides him. It looks like he was blindsided to me in this. So I kind of see in his face there, I think he's a little puzzled. It almost looks like it's like he's saying, is she really like got that bad of an attitude towards me already? I mean, this is kind of strange. And he does a lot of smiling, you know, and like, you know, trying to keep like putting on a happy face. But I'll bet you anything, his blood was freaking boiling, because mine was, and I was just watching it. I'm not even there. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Okay.
Residency in psychiatry.
So what do you know about nutrition?
Let me rewind that just a little bit, because I pause and then it breaks up the flow. But boy, I feel like I got to interject.
Absolutely.
And you are a psychiatrist, am I correct?
Right, a residency in
Psychiatrist.
psychiatry.
So what do you know about nutrition? Where did you gain your background in nutrition?
Where did you gain your knee? Like how this is amazing, because this is the big overwhelming feeling is, how dare you? That's what she's asking, is how dare you put forth this idea? You know, that's the overwhelming, that's the goal of her question, is to intimidate and try to scare him about pushing any more of his idea. That's the goal. But people think it's smart. And the way the audience, so the audience is going to applaud, but you can tell it looks like they may have been responding to an applause sign, because some of them are you can tell some of them, I think, don't want to clap for this, and probably none of them would have unless they were told to. So yeah, I started looking at the audience on this, because I'm like, surely not everybody thinks this is cool. Not so okay.
Listen, this is, I think...
No, you listen to me and answer my question.
Okay, now, he did say listen first. So, but if you had been asked a question like that with that huge, how dare you, accusatory tone, he's already feeling attacked, because he is being attacked. That nasty attitude when he had been nothing but nice. That's why he's like, listen, because she's got a very big misunderstanding of how knowledge is gained in research. Anyway, it gets better.
Now I'm asking you to tell us where your background emanates from.
I went to medical school, and I studied nutrition in medical school, and I studied nutrition independently. One of the crazy things about medical school is that it teaches you how to read articles. I'm a doctor. I know how to read articles.
So have you done any independent testing? Have you written any articles that was as suggested by the physicians who've been here today?
All right. See this assumption here is that, and this is very common now, reading and doing any research on your own to gain any knowledge now is shamed, frowned upon. And if you don't have a bachelor's degree, or a degree from a university in some specific subject, if you read about that subject, that doesn't count. Somehow, if you read something, if you're not an expert to whatever qualifications like this lady thinks you should have, and you read an article, then that article's false if you read it. But if you have let's say a degree in or a PhD in science, and you read an article and quote it, oh, well, now the article's good. The research you're reading is good. But no PhD in science, or no at least a bachelor's degree in science, oh, well, then you reading research is useless. Like, we can't believe anything you read. I mean, that's how they're presenting this. I mean, it's like, how dare you? You read articles? You read research papers? It's like, well, yeah, that's how anybody gains anything. Do you remember in school? I remember we were assigned to do research papers. We had to write research papers for a grade in school. Let's see, that was even like in English, I think. We picked a subject and we had to do our own research back then. Actually, in school, doing research was a good thing back when I was young. Now, here in 2025, actually in 2020, it became doing research, reading, listening to other doctors' opinions, learning about how the body works, learning about the immune system, or something, actually trying to get smarter about health. You were shamed if you weren't a doctor. Oh, don't tell me you're going to do your own research. There's a comedian made a really good joke about that. Okay, back to the video.
What does writing articles have to do with my knowledge?
Well, because I could become you. I could be you as an expert because I read all of the data and all of the articles on this subject. Now I'm an expert.
See? if you read all the research and all the articles, and she's talking about the real articles. Oh, I read all the data and everything. Well, then I could blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, yeah. Does she think that every scientist listens to no other scientist, does not read anything what other scientists do? Does she think that every new scientist, new young budding scientist that comes up in and wanting to, discover the cures for anything, starts from scratch, doesn't read anything anybody else did, doesn't read other people's articles, and become knowledgeable about the subject that he's going to do research on? You think he didn't gain knowledge reading other people's articles? Because that scientist is going to ask some kind of question and try to answer something hopefully new. Like, they're always looking to make a name for themselves, to get funding for their research. They have to be asking an interesting question. They don't sit there and try to prove something that some others they typically, you don't do research that's already been done a lot, or if it's pretty well established, you might not be able to get funding for it. It's like, but that research exists. It exists to be read. That's why it's published. It's published to be read by people. That's why we do it. But they're shaming people for reading other people's research and not doing their own. Oh, you have to set up your own lab. Apparently this lady thinks you have to fund your own lab, get a whole bunch of government bureaucracy, go ahead and licenses and whatever to do whatever kind of research, and then you can say you know something. But God forbid you read other people's research that's already been done and try to glean some kind of knowledge from it to pass on to other people. So I tell you, it's freaking incredible.
That doesn't make me an expert.
With the proper background and with the medical training, medicine needs to think about teaching doctors more nutrition in medical school. But it is up to us to educate ourselves. Just because there's a degree that says a doctor doesn't mean that we have or don't have medical nutritional knowledge.
The bottom line is you practice psychiatry, am I correct?
I practice medicine.
You practice psychiatry, is that correct?
Medicine.
So what makes you an expert in this?
Because an expert in what? An expert in understanding human.
Okay. You see, some of these people are really, I mean, look, she's clapping, but it's like, I kind of wonder, it's like, is she thinking, oh my God, I can't believe she's talking to him this way, but the sign says clap. I don't know. And look at this. This girl is just stone cold, this girl's got this look like, boy, what a bitch. That's funny.
Human physiology, this is medicine. The separation of humans into organ systems doesn't serve the patient. To say that because I'm a psychiatrist, I don't know about nutrition is a completely...
I didn't say that.
That's
your
what you were inferring.
expertise
That's what
is
you
the
were
mind.
inferring. Well,
the gall of that lady. That's not what I'm saying. That's exactly what you were doing. Oh my God, it's some complete gaslighting. I mean, it's downright insane.
Where does the inflammation come from that causes depression and anxiety? It comes from the body. It doesn't come from the brain.
It's a scary thought process that is all you need to do is read articles to make you an expert. I want to know what kind of testing you've done, what kind of data you have, what you yourself have found regarding these issues.
I'm not sure
other than what reliance is on other people's
I'm not sure I understand your question, because that's how
You don't want to listen to my question.
Yeah, he tried to say that's how everybody learns. You read what other people did. God. Ooh, man. Jesus.
Because I'm right.
No, you're wrong.
May I ask you a question? When you talk about the animal diet,
Wait a second.
when you
I
talk
need
about
to be given the floor to respond to this. This isn't fair.
Okay.
Right? Anyone
isn't
gathers
fair.
data by reading articles. Anyone gathers data by learning. What you're suggesting is not a fair criticism of me.
I'm a board-certified physician nutrition specialist.
There are no studies interventionally that show that eating meat is going
Oh
to
dear.
Nutrition.
Sorry about
What
this.
is
Where did you,
medical school.
as suggested by the physicians who've been here today?
What does writing articles have to do with my knowledge of
Well,
nutrition?
because I could become you. I could.
Yeah.
More
Hang on a
nutrition in
second.
medical school.
agree
But
with that.
it is up to us to. I practice about nutrition
Okay.
is a.
I need to do
Damn
is
it.
read articles
I-
to make
I
you
tried
an
to
expert.
pause it.
I
How
want to know what kind of testing you've done.
Understand your
blah, blah,
question because that's how
You don't
anyone
want to
gains
listen to
knowledge.
my question because you know I'm right.
No, you're wrong.
May I ask you a question? What, when you talk about the animal diet,
Wait
when,
a second.
when
I
you
need
talk
to
about,
be given the floor to respond to this. This isn't fair.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyone
isn't
gathers
fair.
data by reading articles. Anyone gathers data by learning. What you're suggesting is not a fair criticism of me.
I'm a board-certified physician.
Okay, that's what I meant to just pause it, but I hit way back on the timeline there. Okay, this lady here, now, she was okay and even agreed with him early on in his statements, but listen to the freaking hostility in her voice already. He was being like attacked so stupidly. And if anybody should know about reading research and stuff, it's her. This girl, because this is an actual somebody she's a nutritionist and what have you, you know. Now, I think she's studied a lot of nutrition. She has been taught the wrong thing, in my opinion. So, okay, so just listen to the how she talks to him. It's like this was planned.
Nutrition specialist. I have been practicing nutrition exclusively. I'm trained as an internist. I was originally board certified in internal medicine. I have spent 20 years. You've been dallying in this for a few years, reading articles. I've been doing it, working with patients. My oath is first do no harm. And I am not a plant-based person. I don't advocate only plants. I think meat, I think there is nutrient density. I think getting rid of the processed foods and the toxins in processed foods, that's what's damaging
Show me
the
the
gut.
study that meat is dangerous.
Show me the study that broccoli is dangerous to lupus.
Okay, wait. I will show you the study.
Did you see that? She was practically screaming there. When she said lupus, she was screaming, lupus! It's like, God. It's like, how does somebody get that angry? I mean, without it being fake. I mean, I don't think she was acting. Like, I don't think that was a hired actress to pretend to be a doctor. I kind of tend to believe, because this is a repeating pattern throughout the medical industry with there's another influencer, no carb diet, no carb life. Yeah. Anyway, it's demonstrated all the time. Doctors are just, they get offended if you suggest that meat is good for you and you should eat more of it. Okay.
can you please just provide the name of one reputable medical journal that supports the meat diet? That's what they are asking.
Right.
Thank you.
So in 1930, there was a study published in the British Medical Journal of a year-long investigation of 2 people in Bellevue Medical Hospital who were eating an exclusive carnivore diet. And during that period of time, these people experienced no negative effects, no dangerous changes in blood pressure, kidney function. They only experienced good things, a little bit of weight loss, and came out of the study saying that they felt better than when they started. So there have been prolonged, detailed studies of a full carnivore diet.
That's a one-year study from 1930.
Of 2 people.
Has there been anything since 1930 with more than 2 people?
There was a study at Harvard done looking at the carnivore diet with regard to gut flora. And so they put people on a carnivore diet for 1 week, and they looked at changes in gut flora, and they didn't see any change in the microbiome in terms of alpha diversity. There was
1 week. Literally, there are thousands and thousands of studies that show the benefits of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and we're
Show
not
me
saying
one.
meat's bad for you. I ate meat last night, but you keep getting back to, no one is saying meat is bad for you. What we are saying is, if all you eat for your whole life, ever, is just meat, that's not good. I don't have to be a doctor. I'm just like, I'm blown away right now.
See how freaking angry he got? It's amazing. Just sheer trying to bully your way, okay. And here's another thing. When they say thousands of studies that show, I have a real problem with when they say that the study shows it. Okay. What they want you to believe is that the study proved. Now, they're not using the word prove, they're using the word show. Well, show is kind of vague. They know, the people who talk that way, say, oh, the studies show. They want you to believe the study proved, like cause and effect of whatever it is that their conclusion is. They want you to think it proved it. And what Paul Saladino and every other, carnivore, all of us carnivore people, we know the difference between correlation and causation. And about all you have in the diet world is correlation. That's about all you can do. The study that Dr. Paul Saladino was talking about the two people that they were like laughing at, that is a year long of detailing what they ate for a year. Most of the studies that are, I don't know of any of the other studies about broccoli and all these things, that show the benefits. Those were not that kind of stringent, what Dr. Paul Saladino was bringing up. So you're talking about a really strict diet there of eating only meat. And then these people who have a million confounding factors eating broccoli in their diet when there's so many other factors in their health, and saying, see, the study shows broccoli is better, improved something. It's like, no study nailed down a cause and effect on a vegetable like that. They just, yeah. Yet he will grab his head and scream at somebody. A complete, it's just bullshit. Yeah. Anyway, that was what was posted by the doctors. Now, it's really interesting. You should look it up. Dr. Paul Saladino, it's back in his video history, I'm sure. He actually did, after this show was over, and, I don't know how long went by, a week or two or whatever, and it was televised and all that. He did a very fun rebuttal video about being on the show with the Strong Sisters. It was funny because during that, the Strong Sisters were, they said they were trying to talk to defend, because they were like attacking Dr. Paul Saladino. And the Strong Sisters were trying to bring up stuff like, hey, like they had some, how their doctors couldn't help them, and how, like, they are a study themselves. We're all studies ourselves. We're experimenting on ourselves. We know what we eat. We know how we feel after we eat it. And, we can share this stuff with each other. But anyway, the Strong Sisters, they said they were trying to talk, but their mics were turned off. Like in the studio, they were on a screen. They weren't in the studio. They were on screen there. And they said they were trying to talk, but the audience couldn't hear them. Their feed was turned off or whatever. So, they couldn't pipe in and defend anything. So anyway, I just, that's what really, that was like a red pill for me when I saw that episode of The Doctors. I was just like, oh my God, because that wasn't done. They were trying to make an example. That show, they were trying to make an example of Dr. Paul Saladino, and Strong Sisters. It's like a, how dare you take your health into your own hands like that? Because what they did is they made the medical profession look bad. You know, when the experts prescribe you a bunch of drugs, and the drugs maybe help your symptoms, but cause other problems. It's like statins. You're trying to take a statin to lower cholesterol, so you're trying to make a blood test appear better, if that test even really means anything. But you're trying to alter one thing, but then you have all these adverse events, all these bad side effects, like joint pain, making it to where somebody can't even exercise. It's like, okay, well, exercise is part of a healthy lifestyle, right? Okay, but let's say I've got an elevated cholesterol according to the medical establishment. So the doctor prescribes a statin. Okay, now I've got, achy ankles and elbows and shoulders or whatever, and now I can't do what little exercise I used to do. Well, I can't even do that anymore because it hurts. But hey, my cholesterol's lower. And then, so these Strong Sisters on there, and I say sisters, I'm not trying to be funny. That's actually their channel name, Sistas, So anyway, that's it. They actually spell it that way. I'd say Strong Sisters, but no, it's not spelled ers. It's as. But yeah, they made the medical industry look bad. And the medical industry can't take that because the medical industry has to prescribe drugs. And they didn't need the drugs anymore. How dare they? I'll leave it there for tonight. So I've gone on for longer. I meant to start my timer. I was wanting to go 20 minutes or be warned at 20 minutes. What am I at? I'm at, where's the counter? I can't find it. Okay. Well, all right. Diet Rebel Scum, that's it for tonight. This was the Rants and Random Thoughts, episode 1, in a series of, I hope, a whole bunch in the future. All right. Catch you later.